Oh my gosh. Yeah. Not a big enough hard drive on this thing.
Yeah, that was my big problem. I discovered too late when I was doing Eric's thing was it was taking Eric E. It was taking a long time because I didn't have any hard drive space.
Yeah. It says we're live, at least on my little corner.
I don't believe it. So just smile and look nice. There we go. All right, everybody, we are here with our free Concert Friday artist, Andy Beyer. Do you see that slide up there, Andy? Are we doing it right?
Sure, I see it. Yes, I do.
There's your beautiful bald head and your
It's a new look.
and your wonderful guitar. Good thing you're wearing a different shirt than in the picture.
Otherwise, people would think I never changed.
I know. You got to be careful these days. So thank you so much. I know you're probably the only person I didn't have to do it on Zoom, but we're both so busy all the time that this is working good. You got some nice pictures behind you there.
Yeah, I thought of all the places. Just wanted to show off my kids always. My pride and joy.
They're awesome. Well, thank you for sharing your talent and doing our free Concert Friday this week. People are really looking forward to it. There is a lot of buzz and a lot of excitement, and they are not going to be disappointed. Let's start here. So as I often tell you at work over the last couple of years, the number one question I get as the pastor is over and over and over and over again is, how is Andy? And I don't know how long it's been now, but over 2 years.
My wife reminded me it's a little bit, actually just tiny bit over 3 years now. I know.
3 years ago, you were diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. It was a huge deal in your life, obviously, a big event then and now in the life of our church. And I don't think people would like me if I didn't ask you, how's it going and what's the latest? And I just feel like this is a great opportunity. We don't want to talk about it at church every Sunday. And so I thought this would be a good opportunity for you to fill people in on whatever you want to fill us in on.
Absolutely. So I guess the newest update, it seems like whenever I have a time, it's always right before something might change. But right now I have been doing what is more like maintenance chemo for a while. Probably the last 5 or 6 months been doing that, and slowly just been doing what it's supposed to be doing, keeping things at bay. But my body has just been taking a toll from that week in, week out kind of a thing. And so we had scheduled with the doc to take a break. Hopefully it'll be almost 3 months long. I had a scan just yesterday, and we'll get the review back this week. And unless there's some horrible thing in there, which I don't expect there to be, because I feel really good under the circumstances, I get to step into pretty much the summer off, enjoy my family, and actually feel better and more like myself in that season. So looking forward to that. But really, I think there's 2 things that the church family could still be praying for me about. And I know, and I want to be very, very grateful to people who are continuously praying for me all the time. Even though I might not hear about it every day, I know there are tons of people who are praying for me and my family every single day. A couple things that would just be really beneficial, and I know people like a little bit of an update so they know what to pray about. The 2 things is just that during this break, everything would kind of, stay still or go away or not get worse. I would hate to come back from this break and have to jump headlong into worse chemo or more aggressive chemo. I would like it to just be, less or not moving or changing during this break, so that we can, maybe do something in the future that might give it the 1-2 punch for a while and make it go away for good. And then the second thing is, some people know this and not everybody does, but in this season, since my surgery, I've been struggling with an ileostomy. I've changed my system, and so that I'm not able to be what we consider normal, and it's just really bothering me. I don't love it. It's a huge life change thing, and so I'm really praying that in this season that God continues and heals me of whatever's wrong in there. There's, I'm not the doctor, and I could probably get my wife to tell everybody the exact details, but to change that so that it would heal and it would go back to normal, and then I could not have that annoyance in my life. But I also don't want to be ungrateful. It's a system that lets me live and do life, and I'm very grateful for it. But it's one of those things that messes with my brain more than I think it, than I probably mentioned that it does. So there's something to people to pray over.
I appreciate you sharing that. and just in case somebody missed the specifics, you're going to be off chemo for the summer.
Correct. For about 2 or 3 months, I'll know more with the doctor, kind of what we're planning on, and see how long that lasts, really based on the scan. But again, I don't expect any problems with the scan. I didn't have any last time or the last two. So
looks like is that you or me that had some?
I think it's you.
That's me. Gonna close that down. I'm usually so good. But did you, is the thinking really just to have at least one part of the year that you can somewhat enjoy yourself? And
it's twofold. It's that for sure, for the mental, not getting bogged down, but two, actually to let my body come back.
Okay.
So the cancer has been beat up by that chemo, but so is my body.
Yeah.
To the point where now I'm actually not eating very much and stuff. And so it's good to take a break so my body can feel and recover, and then have the energy and stamina to do any more chemo in the future as necessary. It's kind of a normal flow as you move through this, where you got to recover and then you attack it, and you recover and you attack it. So this is the recovery time.
All right, good. So what can you talk a little bit about, and then we'll get to some of the questions I actually told you I'd ask you, but how has worship or music been helpful, or even just your job, because so you've led worship 4 times this week, I think, in different settings. Like, how has that kept you going or been a blessing? For me, it would probably tire me out. I would think, oh, maybe I can do 1 a week, or maybe I can, how has just music been a thing? And obviously it's all about the Lord with you, but make it about music for a second.
Absolutely. Well, it's just the music. The long story short is, when I'm worship leading, when I'm singing, even if I'm practicing or whatnot, because what I do is like 99.9% worship music.
Yeah.
I feel the best. If I'm bogged down, if I hurt, if I am tired, if I'm whatever, like all that leaves, and I get a weird, like, Holy Spirit adrenaline rush when I'm worship leading and when I'm participating in worship. And it just, the song, simple song, and the things of earth will grow faintly dim, that kind of thing. It just, all the things that bother me, the pain, the irritation, how I feel, all that just disappears when I'm in worship. And so music and worship just absolutely gives me that freedom, that release from some of those things that bog me down regularly. So it's been a huge part.
And I hope people hear that. And I'm always trying to give you a day off, or only do 9 worship leading sessions this week, and I do want everyone to understand that you feel energized by it. And so one of my favorite parts of Free Concert Friday has been connecting with the artists and nerding out a little bit about music, and especially songwriting. And so I want to get into that with you. Let's talk about music. When did it start with you? Was your family musical? Was there a piano in the house, or how did that all start?
We technically had a piano in the house, but it was so out of tune, I don't think we ever actually utilized it for anything. But no, music was something that I enjoyed because my mom has always been on the worship team my entire life that I know of. And back in the day, the youngins won't really understand this. They had rehearsal or practice tapes. The worship team would give them things to practice with in the car or at home, some tapes. And so whenever we were riding in the car, my mom would be practicing and I would be singing along with her. And she always said the joke was, if she got sick, I could cover for her on the weekend, jokingly, because as a young boy, I could sing every note my mom, the soprano, could, and I could cover for her. So it was, even at a young age, I loved to sing. And then it wasn't till probably, I would say 13, my grandmother bought me a guitar. My parents had me take piano lessons and I hated it and didn't like it. It was not my thing. And my grandma bought me an acoustic guitar, and I played that thing till I literally snapped it in half. And that was the start of my musical time.
What age was that, the guitar?
That guitar was, again, 12, 13, that kind of age. And just bloodied my fingers and just played and played and played.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for her, I don't know how long it would have taken till I got a guitar or got into music.
Now, do you remember just your fingers hurting, and did you know how to tune it? Like, did anybody teach you how to play, or?
So I got a little bit of lessons from the youth pastor at the time, but I will tell you the worst thing that ever happened. I was at my grandma's house and I was playing and I broke a string.
Uh-huh.
And I had no idea
It's over now.
what to do. I was completely lost.
Yeah.
And I called up my youth pastor and he told me what to do. And then he actually showed up at my grandma's house
Oh,
and
what a
changed
guy.
the string for me.
That's great.
And he kind of showed me how it worked and everything. So that way I could figure it out in the future. But I remember that was a huge moment. Like, I have no idea what to do.
Yeah. Did you have a tuner? Are you that much younger than me that you?
When I got a guitar, I didn't initially have a tuner, but that was one of the first things my parents like, all right, he hasn't stopped playing it for a week, even though it's completely out of tune. I guess we'll get him. And I had this little gray tuner, it took a AA battery or something and carried that around.
When I started, it was like, if you couldn't tune it, you just quit.
Yeah. Piano and you figured it out.
Yeah. And then most people never change their strings. So there's like about 2% of people that keep playing and taking care of their stuff. When did you write any songs back then, even for fun? Or
I definitely wrote songs early in the beginning, and I forced my family to listen to them. But man, there's nothing worth remembering from that. That was the beginning of. Oh man, a lot of really, really over strumming. Yeah, really going at it way too hard and
So my favorite thing with music is writing songs, and I wanted to talk to you about that. So when did you start writing songs for real? You can, if you want to count those junior high ones, you can, but
yeah, I would say kind of later in high school, I definitely started like writing songs and writing like what I was going through and my emotions and how I felt. I hadn't yet, discovered worship music as a outlet for that. I did know that's what drove me to start learning the acoustic guitar. Was I initially kind of started a little bit on bass, and then I was like, no, I really want to learn to play this song, and so that was what forced me. And it was a worship song at the time, and I think it was because I wanted to maybe participate in the youth band or something in the future that drove me. But no, I'd stay. A lot of times it was, my emotions about girls or whatever and what I was going through. But my voice was really, really lacking. It was kind of there, but not full. And it was just kind of a huge weak point. My guitar was definitely more my strength at the time. And that's why when I went to college, I decided to go at it I wanted vocal training. So I was like, all right, I think I'm actually better at guitar. And I'll pick that up from other people. But what I need help with is my vocals. That was my major spot that I struggled with. And so it wasn't till post high school into college, after my vocal training, that I felt like the songs that I wrote were singable, catchy, and had some more form to them. Before that, it was, I liked the key I was in, so I would just scream through whatever it took. It wasn't set to a good, vocal range and stuff. So that was huge.
You've always sounded good to me. Was it just wouldn't last, or you just really didn't feel like it sounded good?
Full voice. Before I went off to college, it was very weak. It was all head voice, and so there were certain songs I sounded good on, but if you tried to take it to a certain extreme on either end, it got kind of squeaky, and it just didn't have that full presence in it, and it just was night and day. I came back and it was like, people were like, what happened to you? And it's like, someone broke me and rebuilt me from the start.
That's awesome. And yeah, a lot of your songs that you write are really powerful because of that, holding that note out or expressing that passion. When you do write a song, do you feel like it's we're going to hear a couple original songs tonight, right?
Absolutely.
When you do, walk me through it. Is it music first? Like you get a cool lick on the guitar, lyrics, the feel? Is it different every time?
I definitely would say the majority of the time it's guitar. I'll sit down, I'll fiddle with something. I'll be like, oh, I like the way that sounds, or I like the whatever. Even if I have a topic, even I say, all right, we're teaching on this, and I want to write a song about X, Y, or Z, and that topic, I think about that topic and then play the guitar to find something that I think sounds nice or has a flow to it. And then if I don't already have the topic, then the topic comes and the melody comes before the lyrics for me. I'm humming. I have the same 10 words I always say or something as I'm trying to come up with melodies. My phone is full of stuff that doesn't have anything like real lyrics yet, to try to find a flowing melody that I like. And then from there, I dive into the scriptures and try to grab lyrics out of them. I have not written a lot of what I would say non-worship songs lately. So I as far as how that form goes, that's way more emotion driven. I have a guitar thing, and then I just kind of like or complaining about life or whatever, is how that one kind of goes. But the worship stuff is way more worship or music. That topic comes in, melody, and then the lyrics. I try to get them all to squeeze into whatever I've come up with.
Do you feel like it's hard work, or does it just kind of spill out once you sit down to do it?
This is where it's not consistent. There are times when it's the hardest thing and I get nowhere and I hate everything that I scratch it and throw everything away. And then there are other times where it's like, okay, this feels okay. I've got a system. It works. It's usually at 1 a.m. or some off time that I feel like I'm in the groove. But the best ones are when, I sit down, whether it's 1 a.m, I wake up in the middle of the night, or I'm sitting in church in my office and God just shows up with a song, and you just can't write it down fast enough. You're like, oh, yep, this, yep, and you just kind of just flows out of it. And those are the best ones where it wasn't work at all. It's like every word just perfectly flowed out, and you're like, where'd that come from? You open up your Bible, oh, there it was. Like he just did all the work for me, and I just get to write it down.
Yeah, you're really good at. I've seen you like work hard and take a passage and then basically just make it rhyme, and come out the other end.
I'm not quite as good as you at that, but I definitely try. I think it's because I'm more driven to make it rhyme than you are. You're less held to that than I am. For whatever reason, I struggle with not letting it.
That's funny, because I was just going to say about you, you have this real skill that I've seen a couple times and so maybe I'm making this up, but where it doesn't rhyme or something, but it still works. Like just a weird, like it's weird. I don't know if it's the Australian influence, like it rhymes, from in their mind, but so I love some of the things you've done that are just
works.
Like I'm looking at the words and I'm thinking, I don't get how that's going to be a good song. And then you hear, it's like, oh, that's really cool.
Yep.
Yeah. No. Do you feel like, well, you're really much more worship songs, and like, because it's not like you're out playing bars or, trying to be a Christian superstar. You really are.
And that's awesome too. That's just not what I like. I could have options. I could do this, but no, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I love to do.
Does it feel different to have people singing your song? Like, and I know, like, you're always so careful to make it about Jesus. So you're probably going to even think it's a weird question, but do you feel like, when you're up there and people are singing the words that God gave you, does that feel different or special compared to another song? Or
it's absolutely special, but I freak out and worry about it up until the very moment that everyone starts singing it. The weight that I carry on the thought that people are going to use this song to worship God, and that I'm responsible for any confusion or difficulty or anything that might be a negative effect of it. I carry that weight really seriously. And so when people say that they enjoy my songs, and not just enjoy them like they like listening to them, but that they experience the presence of God, that absolutely floors me, and it drives me to then want to write more songs and do stuff, because I believe that every worship song that I write is, if it can bless anybody and go anywhere, other people care if my name is on it, but it's never been something that bothers me. I want it to be sung by as many people as possible, so that God can be glorified by it.
Yeah. Well, I love them. I'm always requesting them, always requesting the originals.
You are always a big fan of my songs. Almost to the point where I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, I like this one.
Yeah. The one where I get like emotional every time is I'm Not Ashamed. Did you do that one tonight?
I didn't do that Unashamed one because it didn't have a cool guitar lick. I focused more on that one tonight. That one was one of my favorites that we did lately, that bridge of that holiness, righteousness. We were going through that scripture, and it just impacted me so much. I was like, man, we need a song to declare these powerful words, and they are hard words to fit into songs, man. They're big, long syllables, and the ones you go to.
Well, what I think is cool, because you're a basketball player, you're a guy that can fix things.
Yep.
But your songs, you're like a C.S. Lewis theologians sometimes. So it's really just funny because it's like, you know, we all know who we are. You know,
Right, exactly.
I'm a big dope, and you know, so but it's like I was singing that the other day. I'm like, how did that dude do that? Like it was like a hymn from, you know, the words, you know, it's like a hymn from back in the good old days. But it
Yep.
was
When they work, and it
yeah,
just makes me so happy when they work, because
yeah.
because what they came from when I first started in the living room, you know, people would be like, how did anything good come out of that? That's how I feel when I start one of those. So
I think just one of the reasons I'm an okay preacher is just from you know, you got to write a song that's 3 or 4 minutes long that says everything, you
yep.
know, and it really just makes you a good cutter and a good,
Yep. What's
you know,
only most important. Yeah.
yeah. And so anyways, I love that song. We'll do that next time then, or
Yep.
we'll do it at church again. We just did it the other day.
Yep.
So tell
I
me
think
a
it's
little
actually
bit.
this weekend. I think it's actually this weekend.
That's where I heard it. Yeah. I don't know. What is it? Is it March? Is it April? What is?
I think it's technically May. I don't know. They all blend together nowadays.
I've been doing that a lot. So tell me a little bit about one or more of the songs that you're proud of tonight, or even like, is there one that you really think fits what we're all going through? And I don't want to steal any thunder if you're going to explain it tonight, but is there one tonight that, you know, like if people are distracted, if they're kind of watching, or if they don't have time for the whole 40 minutes,
Right.
to hear this song? Like, is there one that?
Totally. I would say the one that I'm most proud of, and the one that I think speaks to the raw emotion that music allows you to do. I feel like sometimes you could say something and people wouldn't receive it, but if you sing it, all of a sudden they'll hear it in a way that they didn't hear it when you said it. And
That's the dream.
and so the Faith is Shaky song, a little more towards the end of the set, is really such a powerful song that, as Paul is talking about in Romans 6 and 7, about not doing what he wants to do and then doing what he doesn't want to do, and that kind of tension,
Yeah.
but still knowing the truth that, you know, my old way is dead. I have a new life in Christ, and those promises. This song kind of mixes promises with the emotion, and then back to the promises again. That we're allowed to have doubt. We're allowed to have, you know, hesitations, or God, I'm not there yet. And this song kind of lets me be that raw emotion with God, and then nope, but I know the promises. I know what's in there. So Faith is Shaky is probably my favorite one, that powerfully depicts what the scripture says, but also really leaves the door open to the human response, the emotion to what that is. So
yeah, I've enjoyed these concerts for just seeing people be different, you know, in their living room. It's very different than you know, playing on a stage in front of people. How did it feel for you? Did it feel like this is great, or did it feel a little weird, like I'm giving a concert to my phone?
yeah, well, I do enough recording stuff now that I feel like the staring it into your phone or into a camera is kind of worn off a little bit. But I think the weird part for this one is I love doing music with other people. I am such an extrovert. I just, you know, I'm feeding off of other people and enjoying that with other people. And so doing something by myself, I just am such a major critic that it took everything in me not to stop every song and start over, you know, because I'm either too picky, or I have a higher expectation, or it didn't go quite the way I liked it, or whatever. So for me, this was a labor of love, because I much prefer to do it with other people. But I just heard a good response from lots of people that told me that doing something just by myself is really powerful in a unique way. And I'm just kind of trusting that they're right.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna, honor that and want to do that. But my favorite thing is still to do it with a group of people. That's always been my fave.
Yeah. Well, I think it just really focuses us in, you know, when it's, I mean, obviously we all love playing with a band, but it just focuses in on what is this guy's heart, and they can stare in your eyes and see if you mean it, you know, and hear it's really good. Do you have a guitar anywhere handy?
Of course I do. I always have a guitar handy at my house. Yeah. Boom. I'll take one of yours. Yep. A little movie magic. Oh, look out.
Oh,
that worked out good.
Yeah. So give us a little, just give us a little taste. It's not going to sound great on Zoom. So just give us 20 or 30 seconds so we can like really get somebody excited about tuning in tonight.
Totally. Overkill Andy almost set up microphones and did a crazy.
I know.
I held it back and
Good
just
job.
wanted to give it a taste. So this is just a little creative run I did with the song Came to My Rescue, a worship song that we do regularly, use a different tuning, and it just kind of gave it a whole different mood change, and I really like it. So just going to be a little bit of it.
Let's nerd out here, okay?
Okay.
Tell them what the tuning is.
Okay.
And all the, people are going to stop watching right now, but this is my favorite thing in the world. And I want some kid out there who's never known that this exists. So really, like, tell us what that means, and alternate tuning.
So most guitars, are in the standard E, A, the normal tuning. And so what I've done here, and I've stolen this idea from other guitar players, there's nothing new under the sun here, is to change the notes. So I've lowered some of them and raised one of them to go to a different tunage. So it sounds very open, so that when I play the whole strings all at once, it makes a chord already for me. So I get a C, G, C, G, C, or a C, G, C, G, D, E, or something like that. And it gets this super open epicness that makes it really fun to write in.
It's how I believe Jesus would play the guitar.
And then, of course, that changes all of your chord formats. So
right.
To know more about how chords are formed, knowing what notes are required to make a chord, because you then don't have the normal G or C or D that you'd normally be playing. So they have different forms. Some of them look similar and some of them don't. So yeah, very.
Thank you. When I learned about that when I was 17 or whatever, it changed my existence.
You can do what?
Yeah. So I wanted someone to catch that's out there that likes guitar.
Well, you'll have to watch my Worship Wednesday. From Wednesday, I used 2 capos.
Oh.
For the real nerding out.
Yeah. Now we got to tell them what a capo is. So, all right, get to it.
All right, sweet. So very, very moody, kind of an open thing. So this is the bridge of that song. In my life be lifted high, in our world be lifted high, in our love be lifted high. So it's kind of, that's cool. I love that last chord because it just has that nice different ring out to it. In my life, be lifted high, in our world, be lifted high, in our love, be lifted high. So it just has that cool sound to it.
Love it.
Looking forward to it.
That's my favorite part. I know I'm going to love that. So thank you so much. Just so I don't mess up and accidentally broadcast the rest of my day to Facebook, I'm going to go ahead and shut her down now.
Sounds good. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah. So if anybody's watching, we're going to post pretty soon. We're going to let you have the whole Friday and the rest of your life to watch it. And if you know Andy, shoot him an email or a text and let him know what you think, or leave us a comment on YouTube.
Love it.
We're all looking forward to it. Free Concert Friday, and I'll see you in a little bit, bud.
Woo! Thanks, Dave.
You bet.